some more pretzels and find JoJo Siwa. Bring her back.
JoJo Siwa has responded to Miley Cyrus over her comment about JoJo being in the closet. JoJo previously identified as a lesbian, but recently came out as queer, and, after much speculation, is now publicly dating her celebrity Big Brother co-star Chris Hughes.
Now here's where it gets insane. Miley Cyrus just put JoJo Siwa on blast for dating Chris Hughes.
Oh my God. Enjoy coming out of the closet. If this Pride is the time for you, it's Miley. I just want to tell you, have an amazing World Pride. Is it a month? It should be a year. It should be infinite. All right, I'm going back to get some more pretzels and find JoJo Siwa. Bring her back out.
And JoJo's clapping back like nothing's wrong.
Herself wasn't too impressed. She took to Instagram to share pictures of herself as a child at her Miley-themed birthday party, wearing a top with Miley's face on it, and a picture of her and Miley together, saying Miley's her day one and she grew up inspired by her. She added, "I don't believe what Miley said at World Pride was ill-intended. Honestly, I think it was meant to be a joke, but just not a very good one, haha. Not what the world, or myself, needs to hear any day of the week."
After building a career on queer pride, JoJo flipped the script overnight. From rainbow icon to a Love Island situationship, the internet's jaw dropped. But it didn't stop there. But that's just the beginning. Just wait until you hear this part. Fletcher, yes, Fletcher, broke her silence. After years of being celebrated for her raw, queer anthems, she opened up about falling for a man. And fans? Some were supportive, but others felt betrayed. She didn't sugarcoat it. She stood in her truth and said, "It doesn't matter who I'm dating, I will always be queer." That's powerful. But the backlash still came crashing down. It spirals from here. Here's where the truth hits hard. Fletcher poured her heart out. She said this wasn't about centering a man. It was about the complexity of queer identity. About how queerness doesn't need to follow a script. And yet people came for her. In a world that demands labels and perfection, she admitted she was scared. Scared that her queerness wouldn't be queer enough. Scared of disappointing the very community she's always fought for. And it gets even messier. But this next twist? Game-changing. Fletcher didn't stop there. She addressed her fans directly. She told them she's always written about her heartbreaks, her loves, her truth. She didn't erase anything. She didn't hide anything. She was vulnerable. She was honest. She said, "I welcome the discourse." But the internet? It wasn't ready for nuance. This is where it all falls apart. That's when everything unraveled. Fletcher archived her Instagram. People thought she was scrubbing her identity, deleting her past. She clarified it wasn't that at all. She always archives before releasing new music. She wasn't suddenly going by Carrie. She's still Fletcher, still proud, still loud. But people didn't want to hear it. They wanted someone to blame. The real chaos starts here, but it didn't end there. Clairo became the next target. A photo surfaced. Clairo, spotted with a man at Addison Rae's show. That's all it took. The comment section went nuclear. Day ruined. Get away from her. A man? Some were jokes, but others cut deep. And once again, queer artists were being punished for living outside the internet's expectations.
Their relationship has proved a little controversial, with some fans questioning her sexuality now that she's dating a man.
I've dated beautiful women. I've dated beautiful non-binary people. I have dated men. I realized for myself that I just like human.
One user shared their support for JoJo, saying, "Sexuality is fluid, and it's crappy another person from the community would make comments like that," while others believed that Miley's comment was just a joke. Miley publicly came out as pansexual in 2015, and has also been in a similar position to JoJo relationship-wise. While with her ex Liam Hemsworth, she said in an interview with Elle, "I'm in a hetero relationship, but I still am very sexually attracted to women." JoJo also shared that she lightheartedly messaged Miley about her comment, and Miley responded saying, "All love, always."
It goes completely off the rails now. And then came the bombshell. Just because someone's dating a man doesn't erase their queerness. But that's the toxic line being pushed now. As if queerness has to look one way. As if queer joy can't include change, or growth, or freedom. This whole storm was already messy, and then Miley Cyrus stepped into the ring. Brace yourself for this one. Now here's where it really explodes. At DC Pride, Miley grabbed the mic and made a dig straight at JoJo Siwa. She joked about going to get JoJo from the closet. The crowd laughed. But the message? Brutal. JoJo had just gone public with her relationship with Chris Hughes, a man 13 years older. The irony? JoJo built her image on gay pride, but now she was becoming the punchline. That's just the beginning. But then everything changed. JoJo responded. She posted a photo of herself and Miley, calling her My Day One. She talked about her childhood Miley-themed birthday party. She tried to soften the moment, saying the joke wasn't that bad. But here's the truth. JoJo was hurt. She admitted it. She just didn't want to admit how bad it stung. And that's when the tables turned. The drama only gets deeper. JoJo said she messaged Miley lightheartedly, and Miley replied, all love. Then JoJo pivoted. She posted a rainbow sermon. Just love, 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 love. But the damage was already done. She knew the community felt shaken, and her attempt at healing came off more like a PR script than real accountability. Here's where the mask falls off. It turns darker from here.
Listen, I said this when I made the video about Miley Cyrus making that joke. It just wasn't funny. It wasn't a funny joke. And I knew that JoJo Siwa was probably hurt by it because this is someone that she looks up to and has made it clear in every interview that she does that she looks up to Miley Cyrus. So again, I don't think the joke was funny. I'm glad that they talked and hashed it out. Let's talk about it in the comments. What do you think?
JoJo framed herself as misunderstood, but the pattern's getting impossible to ignore. She built a brand on rainbow flags and queer joy, then turned around, dated a man nearly twice her age, and called the backlash bullying. The problem? No one's mad that she's with a man. They're mad that she's acting like the rules don't apply to her. Now here's where it gets insane. And then, total chaos. Fans were already on edge watching the Billy Fletcher-Claro backlash unfold. JoJo had a chance to respond with grace, maybe even with humor. She could have leaned in, reclaimed the joke, owned her moment. Instead, she spiraled. She posted an emotional essay and kept spinning. Things went downhill fast, but this part left everyone stunned. While JoJo clung to her rainbow legacy, other queer artists were being dragged for simply existing. Claro didn't say a word, and still got torched. Fletcher opened up, and still got burned. JoJo, meanwhile, kept the spotlight, kept the pity, and somehow made it all about her. And it didn't stop there. Now here's where the spotlight shifts. Glenn Powell's ex, Gigi Paris, stepped into the chaos and dropped a truth bomb of her own. She finally spoke out about the Sydney Sweeney cheating rumors. Back during the Anyone But You press tour, Glenn and Sydney's chemistry had people talking. But now? We know it wasn't just acting. But this next twist? Game-changing. It didn't end there. Gigi said she watched her relationship fall apart while Glenn played house with Sydney on red carpets. Fake smiles, paparazzi laughs, and behind the scenes? Silence. Glenn never said a word. Gigi said it all. And when she did, it wasn't bitter. It was brave. She exposed the showmance for what it was. Here's where the truth hits hard. And that's when the tables turned. The internet realized, while JoJo was busy rewriting her rainbow legacy for clout, women like Fletcher, Claro, and Gigi were out here bleeding in public, telling the truth, taking the hits. JoJo tried to dodge the fire. The rest? They walked through it. That's where it all falls apart. So here's the bottom line. Fletcher shared her truth and paid the price. Claro stayed silent and still got dragged. Gigi lost her relationship and found her voice. But JoJo? She keeps playing victim while rewriting history. She tried to bury her past, but ended up exposing the truth.
She's a millionaire. JoJo Siwa has $1 million multi-business.
Hey Siri, is JoJo Siwa a millionaire?
JoJo Siwa has a net worth of $20 million.
Good for her. So what
person.
if her music's bad?
I know.
Make that money, girl.
So
Go
that's-
start a family with your partner and have the best life.
She has gotten 2 names on her arm tattooed among her sleeves. And they're the names of her 2 future children, and she already has the egg donors. The sperm donors.
What?
Is she having a mental breakdown?
Maybe.
There's no way back from this, and the world knows it now. But it didn't stop there. JoJo's relationship with Chris Hughes didn't just raise eyebrows. It flipped her entire narrative. She spent years building a brand on queer visibility. Her tours were rainbow-colored spectacles. Her fans? Mostly queer teens who saw themselves in her journey. But now, that trust feels cracked. And instead of addressing it head-on, she doubled down, making it worse. The drama only gets deeper, and it goes completely off the rails now. Chris Hughes isn't just some guy. He's 33, a former Love Island contestant, and infamous for his messy public relationships. Fans questioned how JoJo even ended up with him. Was it real love, or just another headline? And while JoJo kept smiling through it, the internet kept digging. Chris's past behavior didn't help either. He was accused of emotional manipulation by exes and once stormed out of an interview. That's when everything unraveled. This next part, straight up wild. When JoJo entered the celebrity Big Brother house, she was still with her girlfriend, Dia Wilson. But viewers started noticing things. Flirting, whispered moments, long looks between JoJo and Chris. By the time she left the show, her girlfriend had vanished from the picture, and Chris was front and center. Fans called it emotional cheating. JoJo called it confusing feelings. But that confusion came with a price. Things went downhill fast. Now here's where it gets insane. JoJo tried to justify it all. She said people don't understand her, that her love is fluid. But fans weren't mad at her identity. They were mad at the betrayal. You can be queer and date whoever you want, but don't gaslight the community that made you. Instead of owning it, she kept shifting blame. First to the fans, then to the media. Now, to Miley. The mask is slipping, and the fallout keeps spreading. Behind the scenes, brands are starting to distance themselves. LGBTQ orgs that once promoted her are quietly unfollowing. Her Pride Month appearances were cut in half. JoJo's team says she's rebranding. But the truth? She's unraveling. One decision at a time. And while the glitter still sparkles, there's nothing underneath. The real chaos starts here.